Hey there, Tamir from Fibonaccis-Traders.com here with Thursday's market recap video, and what a day it was. What a short squeeze after CPI report. So let's dig into charts. Let's see what the market brought us today. Before we do, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, will be much appreciated. Thank you very much. Let's see SPY. Short squeeze all the way to this trend line here. This trend line, as we talked about in the past videos, this trend line here represents the higher highs on the short term since earlier October this year. Higher highs now Thursdays all the way to this trend line, and let's see if bulls have enough power in their hands to break up and above towards this trend line here. This trend line represents the lower highs since January early this year. High, lower high, and now let's see if this was a one-time short squeeze or can we get continuation towards this trend line. By the way, a new video about trend lines and technical analysis in general, link will pop just about now here, so check it out and let me know what you think. QQQ finally breaking up above and closing above this trend line. This major trend line represents the lower highs since August. So now bulls finally short squeezed, breaking up above and managing to close. The close is very important. Closing above this trend line, and now next test is the 284, 285 level. If we look left, it was an important support and resistance level throughout 2022, especially since September. It was support here, resistance here, and now it will be a tough one to break above. Bulls, it's on you. IWM with some sort of a head and shoulder pattern, but as you know me, I'm not a fond of patterns. We only use candlestick analysis, Fibonacci levels and trend lines. Now 185, as we can see, price reacts to the penny, to the levels and to the trend lines. 185 closing on it, same as it did November, beginning of November here, also here, here and here. So always look left, try to identify important levels of support and resistance, follow price and use these levels to manage the risk. Now, one of the issues with a day like today is the gaps. We know that more than 80% of all gaps will get filled at some point. So this gap here will get filled, this gap here will get filled, and this gap here will get filled. It's a matter of time. The sooner the better for the bulls. Dow Jones is next. Dow Jones is leading the way to the upside. Very strong bull run since this break on October 14th, break to the upside from this downtrend here all the way to this trend line here. This trend line goes all the way 1 year, January of 2022, high, lower high, and now finally bulls managed to break up and above and closing above this trend line. But we have this gap here will get closed. But if we get a red opening on Friday or Monday, red opening closing this gap and back up above this trend line, it means bulls are here to stay. VIX, major break to the downside after several days holding above the 24 area to the downside, and now 21, 22 area is next, as we identified the break below this trend line here several weeks ago, and we said once this trend line will break to the downside, we will get a relief bounce in the markets. It took some time because we had some mixed signals in the market, but now finally it broke down. One of the mixed signals that we got in the past few weeks is from the dollar index, because the VIX broke down, but the dollar index refuses to break down and under this uptrend channel. Now, once it did, retested, and then came Thursday CPI report, major candle to the downside to the 108, and as you can see, these levels are working almost to the penny as support and resistance, so follow them, follow price. Bitcoin still not out of the woods after 2 days of meltdown. Thursday erased Wednesday almost, and now as we can see we are inside day. The day only started, so let's see how it will go. Tesla, Doji, inside candle. Doji usually represents a battle between bulls and bears, and sometimes it also helps us to identify a trend reversal, and Tesla needs this trend reversal because it's in a major meltdown. Since September it was 313 and now 190. It means that during these past 2 months Tesla went down more than 40%, so Tesla needs this relief bounce to the upside. 196.200 will be a very tough resistance for the bulls, so one candle at a time, one day at a time. Apple, also a very strong day, almost 9% up. 139 is holding. Let's see if 150, if we can close the week above the 150, because the 150 is a very important level on Apple. As we can see, if we look left, since May earlier this year, the 150 held as support and resistance, and now it might be a tough one for the bulls. So bulls, let's see if this one's a one-time short squeeze or can we get continuation to the upside. If we do, we have a potential double bottom on Apple. The neckline is at 157, but we have this gap here, so let's see. XLV finally breaking above the 134 area. If we look left, this 134 area was a major resistance to the price since April earlier this year. Resistance, 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 and also here few candles resistance, and now this short squeeze helped the XLV to break up and above, and we might see this upper trend line get retested. XLV have no gaps, which is good, so we want to see continuation at least to this trend line here and the 138 as the next resistance. And if we look left, we have this gap here, and as we said, more than 80% of all gaps will get filled throughout time. XBI is next. XBI also gapping up, short squeeze. Let's see the 84. I want to see a weekly close above the 84, because the 84, if we look left, is an important level of resistance throughout 2022. We can see here July, now here, and also during October. Let's see if bulls can continue this short squeeze, or was this one a one-time show. So check out the link that will pop just about now here about trend video about trend lines that I made. Very interesting. Check it out. Let me know what you think about it. And until the next video, stay safe and do good things.